Hello everyone. It's Judy Klock here at Stampin' with Crafty Klock, coming to you tonight pre-recorded because I'm on vacation, but I didn't want to go away without having a video ready for you guys this Thursday. So if you watched my lesson at lunch on Tuesday, you'll know that I was working with the beautiful perfectly penciled designer series paper and on different coloring techniques. And we did 3 techniques on Tuesday. We did a little bit of coloring with just some blending brushes on like the opposite corners. We did that one, and then we went ahead and we did some coloring in of the floral images with our Stampin' blends, our light and our dark stamping blends. And then we went ahead and we did our watercolor pencils and our blender pens to kind of give this one a little bit of a watercolor look. So that was our lesson at lunch on Tuesday, was different techniques for coloring this gorgeous paper. So today I'm going to show you 2 more cards with this paper. One is going to be our simple stamping card. And again, it's nothing more than stamps, inks, and paper. We've added a little bit of ribbon here, but nothing too fancy. So again, I think this is something that every beginner stamper could certainly make. And then we're going to step it up and we're going to make a double gatefold card, or what I'm calling a double gatefold card. And look, I've done a little bit more coloring, but this time, instead of coloring the image is in, we've kind of colored around the images. So that's just a different technique that you can do with this perfectly penciled paper. And then we're going to go open it up. We've got, a fun little pop-up on the inside. Okay, so don't mind that. I was playing around with it and I stamped it there first, but we're not going to do that on our card, or that we're going to make together tonight. So if you are here, thank you so much for joining this little video. I hope you enjoy it. If you're watching on replay, well, I guess everybody's going to be watching on replay because it's recorded. Please let me know where you're watching from, where you're joining in from, because I would love to know where everybody's coming in from. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be using our Nature's Print stamp set. This is part of the Sun Prints product suite in the new annual catalog. I really liked the script on these sentiments. So we're going to be using some of these sentiments. We're going to be using this little flower right there. So let's go ahead and get started. For our simple stamping card, we have a base of Pool Party that is 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4. I've got a piece of basic white for the inside that is 4 by 5 1/4. And I have a piece of our basic black for the front of our card that is 5 by 3 3/4. And then I have a piece of our perfectly penciled paper. Say that 3 times real fast. And this one is just 1/8 of an inch shorter. So I'd have to think, so this is 4 7/8 by 3 5/8. All right. And then I've just got 2 little pieces of basic black and basic white. This is like 1.5 inches by 1 3/4 inches. And this is 1 3/4 inches by 2. And we're just going to layer those up. So let's go ahead and get started. Now this is going to be a thank you note. So I like my thank you notes to just be blank inside so I can write, my thoughts to the recipient of the card. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to I'm just totally messing up my workstation here. Add some Stampin' Seal, and we're going to go ahead and put that on the inside of our card. And again, this is a very simple card. I always like to do a simple stamping card and then something a little bit more involved, because there are a lot of beginning stampers out there, and you don't need a lot of stuff to get started with stamping. A good paper trimmer, some cardstock, some printed paper, and you're ready to go, and a good adhesive, and you're ready to go. You can always add on tools and embellishments and all kinds of stuff, die cuts as you progress. But if you're just getting started, just some cardstock, some printed paper, some adhesive, and some ink, and you are ready to roll. Okay, now before I put this on, I want to add some of this gorgeous sheer Pool Party ribbon. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of my card, and I'm going to take a piece of ribbon and I'm going to kind of wrap it around the front. And it's probably about 1 inch from the bottom edge of my card. I don't really measure, I just kind of eyeball. So that's what we're going to do. Now we're ready to put this on the front. And the reason I'm not tying the other piece on is I find it easier to make those bows and knots once this piece, oh, I'm out of, haha. I'm like, what's going on? I am out. Give me 1/2 minute to get this refill in. You gotta love these drop-in refills. They make refilling so quick. All right, and we're back in action, I think. Let me get this started. Come on. There we go. Now I feel the sticky stuff coming out. All right. Now we're ready to put this on. Okay. Oh, that's so terribly off center. Let me see if I can pick this up without ruining my card front. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Let's see if we can do a better job of placing this down. There we go. That's better. There we go. All right. I got lucky on that. And I'm going to cut another piece of this ribbon anywhere from, I don't know, 5 to 6 inches. And I'm just going to tie this. I'm going to slip it right under, then I'm just going to tie it in a knot. I'm not going to worry about doing a bow. I'm just going to do a little knot because sometimes a knot is just as pretty as a bow. And I love this ribbon because it's so sheer and it's so easy. It lays beautifully. It ties beautifully. You know, sometimes ribbons are really thick and they just don't lay nicely. This one is the perfect weight. It just is a pretty ribbon. All right, now we've got our little white, basic white, and I'm just going to stamp in Pool Party. I'm keeping everything to just one shade of ink here, and I'm just going to stamp a hello there. Oh my goodness, that's so crooked. Let me flip that over again. Let's try this better. Let's see if that's better. That's much better. I don't know what the heck, see, but paper has 2 sides, so if you make a mistake, just flip it over. Don't worry about it. All right, we're going to go ahead and put this on. And then I've got some Stampin' dimensionals, and I am just going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back here. And we are ready to pop this up right here. And that is our simple stamping card. I think I'm going to put one more kind of on the bottom because it was sticking to the ribbon. There we go. So there is our simple stamping card. All done. Very good. All right, now let's go and let's work on our double gatefold. This is a little bit more involved. So I've got here a piece of our polished pink. This is 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 2 1/8. And let me just make sure I have this right. It was 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. So 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. And that will create that little, what I'm calling the gatefold. I've got a piece of basic white here that's for the inside. I've got a piece of, I've got 2 pieces of our basic black. These are 4 by 2.5, and these are going to form the other gatefolds, and they're going to be attached on opposite sides. So the top one we're going to attach on the right, and the bottom one we're going to attach on the left. Then I've got a piece of DSP here that we're going to color. And I thought I had another piece of DSP that I have to cut. I forgot. These are 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. So those are the 2 sizes of our designer series paper that we will be using tonight. Okay, let me just trim this down. I forgot that I needed 2 of these. So let me just go. This was 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, there we go. So sorry about that. And then I've got a piece, I've die cut the label. This is one of the die cuts, the matching die cuts from the Nature's Print. Then I've got a piece of basic white here that I'm going to stamp our flower on. And then I've got a piece of our basic white that I've made a little mechanism. This is going to give us that pop-up. This is a 1/2 inch by 4 1/4 inches, and I've scored it at 1 inch, at 2 inch, and at 3 1/4 inches. So that's going to give us our pop-up mechanism, and I'll explain the reason for the X's in just a minute. But let's go ahead and get started. And I needed one more piece of basic black, which seems to have eluded me. Again, bear with me for 1 second. All right, I needed another piece of basic black that we're going to have that flower sit on. And I thought I had a die cut flower here somewhere. Oh, okay, I seem to have lost it. Well, we're going to die cut another flower then. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our basic white to the inside. We're going to do some of our assembly first, and then we're going to go ahead and stamp. So I'm going to put this in here, just like that, that cut edge on the bottom. I need to put a new blade in my paper trimmer. Now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere my designer series paper to my basic black. And I don't know why this arm keeps moving. I apologize. It seems like my camera mount is not holding steady, and I don't know why that is. I try to tighten it, but I guess I didn't tighten it quite enough. So apologies if it's a little bit askew. Now for this one, I took my Stampin' Blend, and you can use either tip. So in this one, I used the like the writing tip, the fine tip. On this one, I did another one, I used the brush tip. So this one goes out a little bit more, this one stays a little bit closer. It just depends upon what you want to do, but let's just say you want to use the brush tip. You're just going to outline the flowers. Okay, it's okay if you get a little bit on the inside of the flower, but you're just going to outline the flowers, the stems, the leaves. We're just gonna kind of outline that whole flower in our pink. And we're going to do that. You can do just one, you can do as many as you want. I obviously am not going to spend the whole video coloring it out, but I did want to show you how it was done. And then when you've colored it all in, you get something that looks like this. And now we're ready to go ahead and mount that. Put that on our other piece of basic black. Okay. All right, and we're going to go ahead and set these aside for a minute. Now, I want to use my polished pink, and I want to stamp my sentiment on my little label. And I'm going to stamp "You're on my mind." Now these are our cling stamps, so I don't need to use my Stampin' Pierce mat because they have a little red rubber cushion. And then I'm going to come back in here with our Memento ink. I'm going to stamp one of our little flowers. I'm getting ink all over me. Now this is really just a scrap, and I think it's only going to fit on the diagonal. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that. Okay, perfect. Now I have our mini stamp cut and emboss somewhere. I thought I had it over here. Maybe I did not. Did I not bring that back down? I had it upstairs with me, so maybe I didn't bring it back down. All right, give me a minute. I am going to go and die cut out this flower. These are all the dies that come in the Nature's Print. There's the one that matches my flower. I really thought I had my flower cut. I tried so hard to be so prepared and have everything already. I always manage to fail somehow. All right, just bear with me, folks. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go and cut this out quickly because I don't know what I did with the other one that I had cut and colored already. So I do apologize for that. Sometimes the best laid plans just go askew. All right. Guaranteed that I will find that flower that I had ready as soon as I'm done with this video, because isn't that always the way, right? All right. So now that we've got our flower, I'm going to come in here. I have a couple of different markers. I'm going to color this little piece right here with our mossy meadow, light mossy meadow. I'm going to color the bulk of my flowers with our light petal pink. Again, this is just a real quick and easy coloring. I'm not going to go, I don't press very hard because these are alcohol based, so they go on pretty quickly. They cover pretty well. The brush tip gives me just a little bit more, I guess, control, and with that pointy tip, I can get close to the edges without really going over. Sometimes I can't do that with like what I call the writing tip as opposed to the brush tip. All right, then I've got just a little bit of some light Daffodil Delight. I'm gonna put that in here in the center. Now, if you want, you can take the dark petal pink if you want to get a little shading, and you see how the flower has some lines. I'm just gonna kind of like really quickly just put some, like what I'm gonna call brush strokes in there to just kind of give a little bit of dimension to the flower. Okay, a little bit down here. There's one there. All right, just kind of outline the outlines. Okay, and there, now you've got a little bit of depth and dimension. Now this, I'm going to mount on this piece of black, only because I want it to be able to stand up. It's going to go on the inside of my card, and on the inside, I have just a piece of basic white, which is going to be, this would get lost against it. So I think putting it against the black will really help it stand out. Okay, so let's go ahead and mount that on our basic black. Now I'm going to do this little pop-up mechanism, and I saw this in a video done by Sue Campfield, whose YouTube channel is Sue Stampfield. Now you remember we have a 1 inch, a 1 inch, a 1 1/4 inch, and a 1 inch piece. And I put the X's on because I want to show you that's where we're going to put our adhesive. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive here, okay? And I'm kind of butting it right up against that fold line, and I'm going to fold this piece over. Now you want to place it so that the largest rectangle is like the second from the fold. All right, so if I was doing it on the left side, I would flip this so that I would have the 1 inch piece and then the larger 1 1/4 inch piece, then 1 inch and 1 inch. Now, I'm going to fold this back over this way, and I'm going to put some glue here on this 1 inch section where the X is, and I'm going to close it this way, okay? Now that creates that little pop-up mechanism. Now I'm going to put a little glue here, right on that one. That's the larger section. That's that 1 1/4 inch section. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to adhere my little floral piece. Close it so I can have it really press to get it down. Okay. Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? Okay, now I'm going to come on. I'm going to remember, I said this is going to go on the top. So I'm going to put some glue here. And we're going to secure this to the top on the right. Okay. You can play around. The glue gives you a little bit of time to kind of wiggle it to where you want it. Okay, and now this piece we're going to secure on the bottom left. So I'm going to put the glue on the left side of these layers. Okay, and again, I'm going to kind of close this up. I'm just going to kind of make sure those outer edges are even. Okay, make sure it's a little bit straight. I'm trying to make sure it's straight. All right. Then I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere this to the bottom panel. There we go. So the latest episode of Snipped, episode 3, I guess, the video, the mystery basket, posted in the VIP group on Wednesday, June 1st. So if you haven't had a chance, go and look and see, make your entry, because, we've got a couple of winners already. So I'm going to add some of our iridescent rhinestones. I'm just going to put one there and kind of one there. All right, and that is our second card for this evening. So we started out with our simple stamping. It was just stamps, inks, and paper, and we let that beautiful, perfectly penciled designer series paper really kind of be the star of the show. I just love the pool party and the basic black together. I think that's such a beautiful combo. And then one of my other favorite combos is pink and black. I just love the way those colors work together. And we did a double gatefold with a surprise little pop-up on the inside. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed this session of Stamping with Crafty Klock. Thank you so much. I will be back next week for a live video. Have a great weekend, everyone. I will talk to you all next week. Bye now.